Hey, good morning, everybody. John here from Havoc Maker Studio and FNP Wargamers. So today I just have a couple videos I'm going to try to crank out. If you did miss it yesterday, last night I redid my Nick Fury Jr. and Shield Agents video. Cleaned it up and added some other stuff into it, and then split it up with a video about Marvel Crisis Protocol grunts. That's the new unit type that's going to be coming out once Nick Fury and the Shadowland Daredevil ninjas and everything like that drops. And also near the end, I also tacked on a speculative video, if you will, about the future of grunts, possible other game modes, and of course, what other kind of characters and what other affiliations we might see out there, like the Reavers and AIM, Hydra, everything like that exist in all the variety or myriad. I'm not sure I said that right. Versions of Marvel universe, including the MCU, video games, and of course the comics, the cartoons, which are all different universes separate from the main universe, which is 616. But I'm not here to talk about Marvel Crisis Protocol, but check out those videos after you're done with this one. So I got another video I'm going to be cranking out today, and we're going to be live streaming Miss Marvel, the Embiggen size, tonight on Twitch at about 7 p.m. Central Time. Link is down below, but we're going to talk about late night wargamers, or war games, sorry. I just found out about this yesterday and blew my mind. I listened to a couple of their podcasts. Now, what this group of gentlemen are about, because I don't think there's a lady. I mean, there's a lot of videos and or podcasts associated with those videos that I need to comb through. Right now, a couple of guys, they do some live streaming on Twitch. I think that's the primary mode of communicating and doing their stream, their everything that they do here, and then they switch it over to, and I'm just going to quickly go through it. They've got they put it over on Spotify, so if you're a Spotify person, they've got it over there on Spotify. They also have it on Apple Podcasts, so you're able to go there and secure it. And of course, their main website, which I showed. And it looks like their streams, their actual streams, since they're not podcasts, but you know what I mean. They are up on YouTube, so make sure you head over there, hit them up with a subscribe. It's just an extra great feature to have. Maybe even if you're not going to be delving into the type of games that they're playing right now, or maybe that's not on your radar because you are new to the wargaming and your probably first war game is some version of Games Workshop related games, or maybe you've been playing it for like a decade and you're just kind of starting to get a little burnt out and you're looking for something a little bit more fun and not as I'm not going to use the T word, because I don't know how I feel about that, but you're just getting kind of burnt out on Warhammer, and all of its iterations. And which there's nothing wrong if you guys are playing Warhammer, by the way. I mean, I've played it since 1980, the summer of 1988. So I am a fan of Warhammer. So, but over time, as the community grows and ebbs and flows, and this is with really kind of any game, but the larger the game, the larger the community, and is that the quality of people you encounter when you're playing games, especially if you're a tournament player, it kind of ebbs and flows. You get some good ones in, then you inevitably will get some bad ones that turn the game a little sour for you. And of course, you see that with additions, new rules constantly be coming out, even when Games Workshop kind of goes against the flow of what, hey, we're going to do X, Y, Z. And then later on, they're like, well, we're going to take the Z out and the Y. We're going to leave the X in. Now we're going to include M through P, just because we think you guys will love it. And it just really screws everything up, and they've got to hit the reset button. It's like watching DC Comics every few years reset their universe. Not that there's anything wrong. I mean, it's a company. It's got to make money. But you might be getting tired of all this. Maybe you don't want, maybe you're just now new into the sphere of miniature wargaming. And you don't want to dive right into the big one where you're spending $1,000 plus all God knows how much paint time. You want to try to find something small, something that's eye catching that you can go in and play some quick battles. Late Night War Games with Adam and John and a few others has got you covered. And some of these games here I'm going to be covering in the near future. I've there's so many games and stuff. I'm right now. I'm just trying to divest myself of all my Warhammer 40,000 and Age of Sigmar stuff that I have, plus my late friend Ryan, who I got all of his massive armies. I'm trying to divest myself of so I can also give that money to the widow. So I got a lot of stuff on my plate, plus my own games, my own fun painting and stuff. But right now, up on the plate, and this is going to tie in here with Late Night War Games with Adam and John. I'm working, of course, Marvel Crisis Protocol, which I get to play a game now and then. It's a fun, relaxing game for me, and I've talked about it numerous times, so I'm not going to delve too much into it. There's another game like Heavy Gear Blitz, which I'm going to briefly cover today, but it will be a future video, especially after I get my first game in. Frostgrave, I'm going to be playing that this week. There's a solo mode that I've tried. It's actually very interesting to play. It's very simple to play. It's miniature agnostic, which I'd love because if you're like me, you collect a lot of miniatures out there, and you really don't have a use for them. You just got the shiny. You just fall into that shiny miniature syndrome, and you just like it because it's a cool miniature. You have no use for it in whatever game you're playing. Well, now you kind of do, especially if you're playing fantasy. Now, if you're like a future wargamer type player, there's Stargrave, which is basically the futuristic version of Frostgrave. I'm trying to keep this all straight. And if you have a bunch of like modern miniatures out there, like I don't know, SWAT and I don't know, MARSOC and Special Forces, Navy SEALs, drug cartels, that sort of thing. You got like from Turn-Based Miniatures, which is an amazing miniature company. There's Spectre Operations coming out of the UK. If you can secure yourself a rule book, there's plenty of those type of miniatures out there also, and I'll eventually do another video in the future, especially with like turn-based miniatures and albino raven miniatures, who put out a lot of high quality 3D prints, and you can find them on Etsy, or you can just download the STLs if you're like I don't know, 15-20% of the population of gamers that have a 3D printer of some sort. At any rate, these are games I'm going to be covering in the future, and possibly Jovian Wars. And how does this all relate to Late Night War Games? Well, their podcast focus primarily, and there's a lot of podcasts for me to go through, so I have not gone through them all yet. I only have so much time in a day. But these guys cover a lot of the smaller games. The smaller, and what I've said before, are a lot more fun than going and doing the same thing all the time, and with all the hustle and bustle of I guess you call it the big box game store, Games Workshop, or, well, at one point, Privateer Press, but rip Privateer Press and War Machine and Hordes games. So sorry, guys. Or games like Bolt Action's a little bit bigger. It's got and Teen Yankee, those sort of things. I'm sure that they cover that here. So that is one of the biggest things, is that they cover those games. And once again, I've not listened to all the podcasts. I've just kind of skimmed through them, but talking about tactics, talking about the qualities of the games, world building, everything that that goes along with a lot of those same podcasts and everything that you get for just Games Workshop related stuff. But now they're covering the breadth of all the other smaller games that don't require a heavy financial investment, heavy paint time investment, and of course, the time investment. If you've ever played, and I'm not harping on anybody who plays Games Workshop. I'm just going to be using Warhammer 40,000 as an example because they got so many different games. But one of the biggest problems with Games Workshop that I have is the length of the games and the financial cost. And I know, if If you can't afford it, then don't buy into it. You're absolutely right, and I can afford it, and I've got an army behind me. I'm just tired of the time investment and the constant having to re-up the rules like every 3 years now. It feels like, and it's really the time. Do you want to sit down and play a 3 hour game against one opponent, or would you rather sit down and play maybe a 45 minute to 90 minute game, which is about an hour and a half ish, like say War or Marvel Crisis Protocol. From what I'm understanding, since I have yet to play the game, Heavy Gear or Jovian Wars. Infinity, I would say, is a fast game, but it's pretty crazy that you're using about 10 to 15 models each, and it's about a 2.5 hour, maybe 3 hour game. If it's a tournament, I think it's 2.5 hour. It's like really bizarre that you have, like Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, you're looking at 60, maybe 100 models, up to 100 models on the tabletop, and you get 3 hours to play, or you can get the game done in about 3 hours. But you come over here to Infinity, which they do cover a lot in their podcasts. It's like, why is this taking 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours to play a game? This doesn't make sense to me. But there's a lot involved in Infinity from Corvus Belli. It's a very in-depth game with lots of actions and reactions. So I understand it. Just there's a part of my brain pan that's like, this doesn't make a lot of sense. Why is this happening? So you get those longer games. Do you want to play those and invest lots of money and time painting, or do you want smaller games with varying degrees of complexities? Now, I'm going to show right now, I want to just kind of show just one of the armies. I don't even know what army this is, but this is the Heavy Gear Blitz, which is one of the things that they cover a lot on Late Night Wargames. It uses, I think it's about a 3x3, it might be a 4x4 tabletop. You can customize each of these miniatures. They have their own list of weapons, so you can swap them out and customize them. There is an app. The rules are free. I'll show you that here in just a second. Now the scale is still there. That's like 25 millimeter size, but I think it's 1/44th. So I think that comes out to, they're basically like 15 millimeter scale. So those are giant robots that somebody's inside piloting, but they're about the size of Warhammer 40,000 or Age of Sigmar style models, or a little bit shorter. So there's smaller, but you can see a lot of the detail, and the customization is crazy amounts of customization. And this is just one army. There's a variety of armies. There's ones that's got these four-legged walkers. It's just amazing how much detail they squeeze into these, and the customization of not only the weapons, but even the mechs themselves. I'm going to say mechs. I'm not sure if that's the correct term. It might be gears, since it's Heavy Gear. I'm not sure. Once again, I have not played the game. I'm very familiar with it from way back in the day, but I have yet to play it. So I was mentioning real quick before we get back to Late Night War Games, because I want to at least talk about them a little bit more, is Heavy Gear Blitz. The 3rd edition rules is what is out right now. Now you can go buy the book, the rule book, and the rule book also includes the rules for all the armies. For, I think it's about, it's $30. $30 for the rule book that gives you all the armies. $30. I'm just going to put this in perspective for those of you that are looking for a game to maybe to delve into, but you're not ready to invest a lot. $30 gets you your rule book, as compared to the $110 you'll spend on, say, Warhammer 40,000, because you need a $60 rule book, and then you'll need your $50 codex. And likely you'll, if you're like Space Marines, you're going to get a $30 supplement. So now you're at $140. And of course, you're going to want the cards. You want those data cards. So now you're $165 just to play your army. That's before you even get into miniatures. So and you're looking at like $50, $60. I think it's about $60 on average for a box for a unit. Here with Heavy Gear Blitz, from what I'm seeing, is you can invest under $100 or around $100 and have your army. maybe a little bit more if you want to get some more options. But some of the boxes are like 100, maybe up to 150 for like the real large scale boxes, and then you've got your army. You're done for under $200. Not only do you have your rules, but you got your entire army. I don't know about you, but under $200, that's a glorious investment because now that's money that I now have in my pocket to buy some extra paints and extra brushes. Maybe not too many, but enough to delve into this. Where when you're doing say Warhammer 40,000, this is just an example. I mean, right off the bat, Codex and core rulebook, you need a what is that? What did I say? 111 or $110. $110 just to get your books, and you need at least if you're smart and you bought a not smart, but if you were fortunate to find a good start collecting box, you probably have your first 500 to 700 points, depending on which system, which is really good because those start collecting boxes. So, see, I'm not just saying bad things about Games Workshop. Their start collecting boxes are of great value. They're about $140 on average, and they give you about a little bit around the 200 mark, or I'm just going to say 200 in general, or an average of miniatures in there. So it is a bargain box. It is definitely really good. It's not on sale. It's not a sale. It's just they're passing on. I mean, you're saving money. It's a weird business thing. I'm not a business guy, so I can't sit there and talk too much about it. But you're about 500 points into your 2,000 points. So now your first 500 point army, that's 140, 100. That's $250, and you still have another 1,500 points to go approximately, and you're only $250 in. So around $200, maybe even $250. This same to get you started with just your first 500 points in Warhammer 40,000 or Age of Sigmar, as an example. You can take that 200 same amount of money and not only get your starting full functioning tournament ready style army and the rule book, but now you've got about $80 to either buy paints and brushes or additional units, because there's all sorts of add-on units and blisters that you can get for heavy gear. It's really awesome, and that's what I'm kind of excited about it. But I'm like, money is a tight issue right now for me, since I only do commission painting as my source of income, plus my retirement, medical retirement from the Marine Corps. So this is why I like to bring up these smaller games, because it's a tiny investment compared to these larger games, even compared to Bolts Action, which is still on the cheap end compared to some of the bigger games out there. And to get a full on, I'm going to say competitive army or full scale army to play in just even a casual, this game is even, I think, a smaller investment over even Bolts Action, which is considerably a smaller investment from, say, Warhammer 40,000. Once again, I'm not downplaying or dogging those games, but I'm just trying to give you a price comparison. And on top of those price comparisons, you also have to factor in your time playing and your time hobbying for all that, regardless of whatever your hobby level is. I mean, if you are like a super detailed person, you're going to invest hours on just one model. If you just want like the mythical made up 3-color minimum for painting, then you're still going to be investing time for that. So you're wasting, not wasting a lot of time. You're spending a lot of time, spending a lot of money, and then game time. You're spending as you go down, that game time shrinks, except for the weird one of Infinity, where you're like at the high end. It's weird, really weird. And the more casual and laid back you do play a game, the longer it will take. You guys are smoking and joking. A game that should take you 30 minutes might end up being an hour or more, because you guys are just chilling and just having fun, drinking a beer or Coke or Monster, like your second or third Monster for the day, and your heart is like, please stop. So the reason why I want to bring this up is mainly because Late Night War Games, some great podcasts on these smaller games, Infinity, Heavy Gear. I think it's Heavy Gear Blitz. Now, actually, we can just take a look. Heavy Gear Blitz, Heavy Gear Blitz, Jovian Wars, and I'm sure they got a lot of other smaller games. I think there was one, one of the podcasts I was just listening to, and I'll have to bring it back up. They were starting to talk a little bit about Marvel Crisis Protocol, which is really good because, as you guys know, I'm a fan of Marvel Crisis Protocol, and I don't know why. I think it's just because visually it's a great looking game. So if you want to delve into these smaller games, or you just want to listen to some podcasts, because even if you don't play these games, they might have some tactics for these games that could very well carry over into whatever game system you're playing. And you're like, well, that doesn't make sense, John. Well, you know what? Real world military tactics, we learn from our enemies, all right, and we learn from our allies. We're like, well, we don't use that type of stuff, but how can we use? But that's a very effective tactic. We don't have that sort of equipment, but how can we use that take that tactic, that strategy, and incorporate it with our training methods, our weapons, and such like that, our gear and such. The same principle applies with tabletop wargaming. You might hear them talk about something, especially if it's just in the background while you're playing or you're hobbying. You're going to hear something that's going to be like, what did he just say? Let me go back, and it's like, oh, I just had an epiphany. And now you can use that same tactic, that same strategy, and incorporate it with your Necrons or your Space Marines. I mean, it might require some tweaking, but you know what? It could be the difference between winning a tournament game or losing a tournament game. That's why I like to really focus on the smaller games, like Late Night War Games does with like I said, heavy gear, Blitz, Infinity, Jovian Wars, and such, because there's always something that you can. There's a high likelihood that you can pull something from what they were talking about strategy wise. So at least give them a try, especially if you like to listen to podcasts while you're driving. And if you're like me, you've listened to podcasts before for like Warhammer, and I'm just, once again, not dogging Warhammer players. I've been playing since 88. But a lot of the stuff that you're hearing out there for tactics and strategy is just the same thing over and over and over again. And it's really starting to become rinse and repeat. But it's a safe space for you. I hate using that term, safe space for you. So that's why we stick with what we know. But if you want to improve your playtime or just the quality of what you're listening to, give Late Night War Games a chance. I'm going to swap my links, or at least one of my links, in the description below, and I'll at least have their main website on there. And I'll put up Heavy Gear Blitz 3rd edition link. So if you want to just download that rule book for free and see what it's like, then, especially if you like to sit on your golden throne, you put it on your iPad or your Kindle, whatever it is that you've got going on, and sit there and read. It's an opportunity to expand your horizon. Maybe you won't run out. Maybe this video is not going to convince you to run out and invest $200 to have everything you need. Maybe $250, everything you need to play Heavy Gear from start to finish. Maybe you're not going to. Maybe you're not going to delve into Infinity. Maybe that complexity of game is too much for you. Maybe you want to keep it simple, like Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Comparatively, that's fine. But maybe, like I said, there might be something of a kernel of knowledge, something that is beneficial to you. And that when we have people like Adam and John and the other people that jump on here for Late Night War Games with like I said, Heavy Gear, Infinity, Jovian Wars, and such. I already lost my train of thought. But that's what I like about these guys, is because they play all those other games, and we can at least get some inside knowledge, inside viewpoints from from games that we are not knee deep involved in. Like I really love Marvel Crisis Protocol, And I listen to a lot of people talking about that. I read a lot of articles, but guys like this are going to have a different perspective, say that I'm not seeing, just like I have a different perspective than what you guys might have, because there's people out there that like, oh, here goes John with his hot take on Marvel Crisis Protocol. The guy doesn't really go and do tournaments or anything, but well, you know what? I can read between the lines. I can do the math, and sometimes I come up with a different strategy that maybe you might not be thinking about. So these are things I like to just share with you guys because there's a lot of possibilities here. Now I know I might end up redoing this video because I'm kind of all over the place here. But but these guys also are on Patreon. They're on Discord. They have their own store with a bunch of patches that you can get. There's a lot of these smaller games. People like to have their patches on their backpacks. So there's a lot that late night war games, and it looks like they do. They're fairly consistent with putting out. It looks like maybe once a week they're cranking out a podcast. So at least it gives you something to listen to every week. Give them a try. Let me know what you guys think. If you are a subscriber for them already, go ahead and comment below. Let us know what you think about their impressions of stuff. Maybe there's something I talked about here that that I didn't talk about. You want to make sure that I understand. Maybe you are actually Adam and John or any of the other people from Late Night War Games that jumps on and does commentating, and you want to just chime in. Please go ahead and do that. And while you're here, there's that red subscribe button. If it's red, that means you haven't subscribed yet to the channel. Go ahead and hit that before or after you leave a comment. If you guys got to do a dislike, that's cool. I get it. Leave a thumbs up otherwise, and share this out to your friends. I am going to chat with you guys later. I do have another video, and like I said, we will be streaming Miss Marvel Embiggened size later on tonight. And I'll probably talk a little bit about Heavy Gear Blitz while I'm streaming, because I am going to go ahead and download this and read it. I want to play it because I like mechs. And a couple of their armies look like Gundams. And I'm kind of a Gundam fan. Not a huge Gundam fan, but I am a Gundam fan. So anyways, you guys have yourself a wonderful, what is this, Wednesday afternoon. And I will chat with you later.